My motherfucker will be no working 5 days. Jesus Christ. Mm-mm. But how you doing? I'm doing good. Today's just one of those days. I feel irritated a little bit, but that's just me. That's just how it be. That's why I did Libras reading is because they get some of that out. He said there's something wrong with my shit. Is there? Let me see. I'll listen to it. I got it right here. My voice don't sound low to me. It don't sound low to me. Maybe restart, or you said background noise is louder than you at times. Well, if I'm talking low, then obviously I'm gonna not be picked up as much by the mic. I can't help but that the AC is on. I'll talk louder. I can hear the static that y'all talking about. I don't necessarily know where that's coming from. I haven't changed anything. I'll turn up the mic. I turned it up. That just has to be the AC. I don't think it's changed from last live stream. I'll move the mic a little bit closer too. See, people be pissing me off. People still be pissing me the fuck off. I'm not worried about it. That's the thing. Like, if people can't hear me, then they can't turn up their sound. That ain't my motherfucking problem. I was just making sure that that static wasn't so loud. You know what I mean? I didn't hear no static though. When I listened to it, it was very very low. Like the static, not my voice, the static. I heard my voice, and then I heard the AC. That's it. I just feel like you trying to be annoying. Like I said, I ain't here to play. People is annoying. He said, "Is your washing machine on full blast?" No. Is it? Is it any different from the last one? Can someone go back and see? Go check the last live and then check this one. What is different? I don't know what's different. I'll leave if that's what y'all want. I'll leave. Or are people just being picky suddenly? Because if y'all just being picky, sensitive bitches, then y'all can also leave. You know what I mean? I'm just looking for new people today. Is new people gonna come on, or is it gonna be same old, same old? Check the last one too if you can. and listen. If that's like a problem, then I'll replace the mic. Oh, Jen, it's been a second. Hi, Jen. What you been up to? It's been a second for real. You said I was getting bummed missing your lives. Well, you here now. You here now, and you know, like for the most part, I'm feeling good today. So, mm, I don't know what type of day it's gonna be. It depends on the people. If people gonna be annoying and obnoxious, then I ain't putting up with it. I don't really give a fuck this morning. Been through hell and back, Jesus. Lord Jesus. Well, hopefully you're doing a little bit better today, Miss Jen. Thank you, Jen. Trying to stay a little consistent with the live streams because I know that people like the nightlies. They like the ones way early in the morning. They like that type of vibe. I've been trying to stay a little bit more like, you know, reasonable between 5 and 8 a.m. How's it, Brennan? One second. Let's see if that's any better. I don't know. I covered up the AC entirely. Should we see if there's anything collectively going on? It is better. A concert? The fuck was you seeing? What was the concert? It says no, the product. Camilo and Santa Fe Clan. Haven't heard of them. You said the new little Mexican kids hip hop group. Okay. They any good? Or did you just go to kind of get lit a little bit? Say Peso Pluma on the third. Very, very good, I think. Okay, because some people are just very, very good. Some people are very, very good in person, and it's kind of mediocre when they record. I like them type of niche bands though. I like them type of niche groups where it's like they legit could pin you through live music. Live music is my favorite. When it makes you feel high without even smoking or nothing, that's the best. Sounds exactly the same. Thanks for checking. A little bit static, but your voice is very clear. Okay. As long as it's not my mic breaking or nothing. I don't think it is. It's just the air. I covered it up, so it should be fine now. Deanna, you said my apologies early for invading the Libra space. That's fine. I mean, I don't care. That's the thing. I don't care if anybody watches as long as they're not bugging me and bothering me and trying to talk to me. It's like, it's just messages for Libra, you know? Take it or leave it. It is what it is. I'm not about that bugging shit. When people try to bother me about the shit. Like, oh, that's not my story. Like, shut the fuck up, yo, bitch. I don't give a fuck. I don't care what's your story, honestly. I don't know why you sit on my channel and saying all that. Bored as a motherfucker. You know, fucking Price is Right hasn't hit your TV station yet. I love music. I am utterly in love with music. It's the one thing consistent throughout my life that I absolutely love. Gemini. Good show, by the way. Listen, if you watch Price is Right, there's nothing wrong with you. I'm just saying, some people got shit better to do than to type certain things. I'm very diverse in my music taste. I like to believe that I am as well. I'm not all rap and hip hop and R&B. I mean, I even like a little bit of folk. I like a little bit of rock. I used to listen to rock and a lot of alternative. Just because it's in my family a little bit. I even used to have to listen to fucking Elvis. I said have to, but Elvis Presley and shit. Everything old. You know, if you ran it across me, I probably at least heard it once. Everything in like the 60s, 50s, even back to like the 30s. A lot of old jazz. D-Baby. Elvis, yay. I mean, classics, right? Very much classics. 50s is my go-to. Can I be real? Like, no, I love all the voices from that era. Especially the black voices from that era are so... And to me, it's so like angelic. You know when you get those chills or like the hair standing up on your arms? That's kind of what it makes me feel when I hear them old records. 50 just has that. Them old, the specifically the black women, beautiful voices, man. Oh my god, to die for. You ain't hear nothing like that today. Angelic. Hi, Julie. But I'm always listening to music. You said Donnie Hathaway give me them chills. Alright. Okay. Okay. I heard you. Mm-hmm. A little bit of Donnie. My main go-to is Ella. I'm gonna find her right now. Find my playlist. There she is. My favorite is Ella. Nina is. I love Nina too. I love Nina. But Ella, dude. Ella takes me somewhere. I don't know where it is, but she takes me somewhere. Oh man, dude. Oh, amazing. Sam Cooke is decent. A lot of the voices that I heard here kind of fade in and out is definitely that like 60s style, like kind of white man's take on blues. Like that's never really fallen out of style, especially within like country and folk. So to me personally, with something that's rare that we really don't hear no more, is definitely like 50s, 60s style voices, black artists. I mean, don't get me wrong, R&B be hitting still. R&B be hitting. Aretha Franklin, Queen, loved. Queen loved, but for me, Ella is where it's at. Donna Summer. Oh man, Ella, for me, Ella and Nina. I have some like way like most people wouldn't even know who these motherfuckers is. I have some of those too. I really do. Hold on. Let's get to that list. Where'd it go? I have some motherfuckers that ain't nobody listen to. They have like one listen or whatever. Okay, let's see. Not everybody knows them. Oh, they have. God, my list is so thick. I feel like it never stops. I gotta wait for it to load every time I scroll. Yeah. Belafonte. Not a fan of Michael Bublé. I'm sorry. He's just too. It's not bluesy enough and it's not black enough. I'm sorry. That's my personal take. Prince takes me back. I like Prince a lot. Prince is very talented. Jimi Hendrix, incredible talent. Michael Jackson and George Benson. Michael Jackson, of course. Georgie. I know a lot of Georgies. Louis Jordan. The Robins. Y'all already know. We got the fucking Temptations. Trying to find the ones that ain't nobody really heard of. Like your grandma's grandmammy would have been listening to this shit. We got some stuff from the 20s, 30s. I was actually thinking about this last night. Isn't it wild that we can fucking play shit? We don't need no records or no CDs. I mean, I even lived through that era. You know, I lived through an area with like MP3 and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, but most of it was richer kids having a little MP3 game, or you know, you steal the shit. So I was still listening to the CD players and of course records, just because my family is old and decrepit. Oh man, for me it's always nostalgia when I listen to shit like this. Turn it up. I like the flamingos. And they'd skip, yep. You have a scratched fucking CD. And even on the fucking record player, this shit would fuck up. If you didn't take the best care of your shit would flop. You couldn't get past a certain song and it just keep going. You had to like beat up the CD player in order to get that shit to play. Mm. Ancient ass. When you put the fucking, they got those special CD players in the car where they have like 6 different CDs. You could put it up in there. You felt special as fuck. Put them burned ass CDs up in there. Smacking it, bam, bam, bam. I just like that a lot of it is feel good music. There is, hold on, where is he? His name is. I'm gonna find this nigga. I think it was. Where is this song? I can never remember this nigga. The portable was in your car. Oh my shit, don't let it get, yo. You remember answering machines and playing your favorite song with if the exact moment pressing record one pagers came out to the same thing. I never got. I wasn't into the pager era. I was definitely in the answer machine era, at least for my family particularly. But by then we was already like burning all the CDs in the early 2000s. You know, people would still doing all that. People still had home phones. Now that shit is a waste of money. See, I'm trying to find that specific song. Oh man, in their 70s. 70s had some fucking crazy ass songs. Hold up. Oh, this is. Oh, cornball romance shit. What is my future if I go deep into tarot cards? Like, really study deep about it. Like, that's for me the worst because I just got tarot card. I mean, I won't lecture you go down the path of all that. I'll just give you a couple cards and I'll let you know what's up. I'll give you a couple cards, like, what will come of it. Let's see. You always had it. They talk about you always having an emotional attachment to things of that nature, tarot and astrology. They talk about you being able to kind of cope using it. I guess in a way, tarot kind of becomes an outlet for you that is more, has like a positive effect across your life, where you stop focusing on the bullshit, stop focusing on the boyfriends and all the extra shit. You start focusing more on yourself. So they talk about that being positive. As far as the future, that's kind of to be determined, because you have a tendency to kind of pick things up as you go. You're not really, as far as studying goes, I don't see you being very attentive with it. So it's kind of just something that I think you're just going to pick up. A lot of tarot is based on intuition and not really based on what the book says or what the old meaning is or anything like that, or the fucking Rider-Waite deck or whatever the fuck them old crusticles were using. Now it's all based on intuition, So tapping into that side, I don't think it's going to be too hard for you. I'm going to be real. I'm going to be honest. As I see, you're a very emotional person. So, you're emotional. That's what they said. You're very emotional. Definitely said that you have to learn to shut off your emotions, though, during times when you're reading other people, because sometimes your own shit can bleed into other people's. And that happens not even just in tarot. That happens in normal, average conversation and communication with other people. So they said search for what you want to use it for. So they're talking about search for the purpose, right? You can make the purpose about, yourself. You can make it about others and trying to help others. You can make it about money. You can make it about anything. So just keep that in mind. There's several facets of, benefit, I guess, for you, depending on what you would like to do. And I don't think you're to the point where I would say you're willing to go all the way with it. Just because, like I said, it's more something fun to do for now. And your accuracy is all dependent on your mental stability. So, like, your emotional and mental stability. So, being able to, like I said, not bleed over into other people's readings or emotions, and more or less, when you're trying to read yourself, right? A lot of readers will struggle and be like, I can't even read myself. That means they're emotionally all over the place. So, they shouldn't be reading other people. They definitely shouldn't be reading nobody else. Okay, so, start with that. The hardest part is honestly sometimes reading yourself. Being able to attack your own life first. Look into your own situation and decipher on whether you're ready for certain steps, Not just spiritually, just in general. In general. Don't use it for one purpose. Use it for everything. A lot of people get addicted to the feeling of tarot, not just doing it, like actually buying readings or participating in readings, getting readings. They're just addicted to it, and then they get a deck and they don't connect at all, and they're wondering. They're like, damn, like what the fuck? Like why can't I Like, why can't other people do this and I can't? It's just all within here. It's all within here. You kind of gotta like shut down and be able to what do they call that? Derealize, desensitize, leave your body for a second, walk away for a second in your mind, and just go with the flow. Completely leave yourself up and vulnerable to just the cards, to the cards alone. Separate yourself from yourself. And that's when this shit starts popping up. And I know you already are intuitive, so it wouldn't be no problem either. Some people start with like very like 3-card method, and the first thing that I did when I started doing like actual tarot was storyboarding. That's what I called my form of tarot, was storyboarding, because I would do these full on detailed story. He said, do tarot readers start by reading for themselves? Not always, because they be really accurate. Most of the time, can I be real? Tarot readers start because they want to read someone they're romantically interested in, or someone they think is like that they're paranoid about and they think is cheating on them. That's 99% of tarot readers, is they start for the purpose of like helping themselves figure out if they can trust people around them. And essentially tarot does not always feed into that category. For the most part, if you're reading for this for yourself, they're looking for ways that they can help heal you. So most of them do. The open book thing just comes with years of experience. People can latch onto tarot quickly and fall off just as fast. They stop being the ability to read just because, like I said, it's all within you and your emotional capabilities. You got to be able to separate yourself from other people's shit and solely and believe in and be vulnerable to the idea of the cards and channeling spirit or whatever you think is there, and not being afraid of negativity or afraid of darker topics, because most people come to tarot as a way out. It's kind of designed for that. It's designed for the self-help, the self-guide, and you really just need to be on your A game with protecting yourself as well. Because if you think tarot is just like a game, then you're sorely mistaken. That's one thing I would say. Like most people, it's not like the movies where it's like you pop out a Ouija board or a fucking tarot deck and fucking spirits start flinging the cards everywhere. It's not like that. People who say that shit is liars. They're all liars. But like, and I'm usually not one to say everything is impossible, but just enjoy it. You know, see how you like it. The deck is alive type shit. You know, just know that the deck is alive. It's always listening, always watching, always paying attention. Always. You know, maybe one day you're walking by your desk and you flip over a card and you're like, what the fuck? Yeah, that lines up. That's accurate. But they're not just, when tarot readers are reading cards, they're not just reading cards. They're intuitively reading people. So you're going through the span of someone else's emotions. You're seeing, sometimes people get flashes and see certain things. Some people channel listening to music. Music has always helped me try to channel what people are feeling, because I'm not the greatest when it comes to paying attention to others' emotions, even though I see them and I hear them. You'll find your specialty. You'll find what you like. You'll find it. Good luck. You definitely have the capability. Anyone really does. It's just not everyone wants to hone in on that particular skill, and it scares them. Listen, as far as me memorizing anything, that just came with, like I said, the experience. I didn't have to, like, in the beginning of me starting tarot, I had a previous tarot channel where I was reading for like probably a couple months, and I had gotten at least the major arcana down, and that's the only thing I cared about. That's the only thing I cared about. So was learning the major arcana. That's it. Learning what those meant, and then everything kind of follows suit. As far as learning everything else, I didn't need to read the book or anything like that. I just looked at the fucking card and deciphered the card. It's just intuitive, being intuitive. That's where the accuracy comes from. The origination of tarot is to be used as a tool in order to hone in on specific scenarios and situations that other people are dealing with intuitively. So you're basically using your intuition to match a tool used to guide you, towards the most important scenario or situation that someone else is dealing with, or that you are dealing with. So you just used it that way. Most people use it for malice reasons, though. Just to stalk and shit. That has to get boring, though. Took me like 2 years to hone in on actually just being able to read. As far as like separating my own emotions and stuff from other shit and being able to do like live streams and stuff, that just took a whole other bout of courage. As far as like exposing yourself on a screen, making videos, going live and that sort of thing. If that's the part that you're really curious about, those are the parts that are honestly the hardest. It's not learning the deck, it's actually doing it in front of a crowd or small group of people, and then being able to maintain that without letting your anxiety and other shit get in the way of that. So, that's one of the hardest parts, if you're planning on doing it live, right? A lot of people see benefit in the money, but you won't make any money if you're not good. You won't make money if you're not good, and if you're not consistent, and you kind of get like shy or afraid of your own answers. You got to be confident and not bullshit people. They can tell when you bullshit. Well, let me take that back. They can sometimes tell. Sometimes tell if you're bullshitting, because there's a lot of dumb motherfuckers out there. Let's be real. There's a lot of dumb ass motherfuckers who believe anything for a motherfucking Klondike. It's crazy. That's crazy. Sometimes it's insane. Some people are so desperate for some type of spiritual connection that they just believe anything, and it ends up hurting them and burning them. Like I said, my sympathy, I don't got no sympathy for them people. Sorry, I don't. Thank you, Angelica. You're accurate as fuck, though. Yeah, but I'm accurate without the cards. I don't need the cards to read. So for me, it's just simple everyday life of being able to read bullshitters and read people. I don't trust people very well, and it makes me a hell of a lot more observant and a hell of a lot more intuitive, just because I can feel people. I can feel what's going on internally, and just because I don't react externally does not mean I can't feel it. That's why I keep a big distance. It's just because, if there's people trying to contact me or people trying to fuck with me, I can feel all that. I can feel their intentions. A lot of people try to hurt themselves, try to talk to psychics and shit like that. It's like, it's not that serious. It's not that deep. I'm just another person. I'm just another human being with human being problems. Nothing to be worshipped or looked at with doe eyes or whatever. There's a lot of people like me out there. Just use it a little bit differently. I gotta stop drinking coffee. Mm-mm. But I appreciate it. Thank you. I would say if I was to estimate, right, and say you're a fast learner, I would say to become incredibly comfortable with reading yourself and other people is really important. And it probably take you at least 2 years, 2 to 3 years in order to really hone in on that skill. Now you can throw yourself into tons of risky situations, I guess you can say, right? And maybe you want to start doing lives, maybe you want to start doing a bunch of things online and like conjuring that shit up. Then I would say you can probably lessen the time by about a year or so, and you probably can become pretty fucking good as long as you are someone who can maintain an emotional stability when you are reading. It's just so important you do not bleed into other people's shit. It's like that's the most important when you're doing this. Like if you're an emotional person, then have boundaries as well. And if you struggle with boundaries in actual life with actual people, not actual because everyone's real, but at the same time, like I said, with people in your personal, then you need to learn to counter that and make the appropriate protective boundaries. Otherwise, you're going to feel constantly drained. Like just how when I was first starting, I was drained as a motherfucker. I go through maybe like 10 people and I'd be like, fuck, man. Like, this shit is crazy. I'd be like passing out at the desk. Because people's situation are heavy. And you can't internalize them. You externalize and allow whatever force is out here, whatever spirit, whatever person or other entity is out here, helping you read. You just allow them to guide you entirely. You let go. You have to let go and trust whatever it is, even if it's something that you can't see or physically, get with. You know what I mean? You just kind of release, let go of control entirely. And that's some of the hardest shit. That was very hard for me to do. I'm still learning how to do it. You're nice. You said you're nice to look at too, though. Sorry I had to. I don't mind. I don't care. I'll take the motherfucking compliment. Thank you, Jen. I appreciate it. Thanks for learning. I appreciate that too. I'm learning still. Meditation, sage. I do bay leaf. I use bay leaf. So, I mean, to me, plants that are spiritually significant are usually like pretty intense smelling plants. I used to use mint, honestly, because I started making my own candles a little bit not that long ago, and I do have candles, y'all. Check out my store, check out my Etsy, Occulture. Check out my Etsy because y'all already know I got them spell work candles in there. They're all self-healing, self-afflicted. You're not putting no work on nobody, no karma involved, no bullshit involved. They all work though. They all work. The people in here can account for that. The people that bought some can account. I can also account. I use them not every day, but I use them a lot. But I would say things like bay leaf and sage are important. If you're somebody who strongly believes in the idea that you can attract like negative entities doing tarot, and that when you need like space away from the negativity or negative emotions, negative feedback, then I would get some sage, like just to like after you're done and before you start. Because honestly, that's what I do. Is like right before I start, I sage or I use a bay leaf. Right after, I also sage or use a bay leaf. And I really like candles usually. A lot of people are like kind of iffy on that, but I like candles. It doesn't represent spell work to me, and to me, it's just like it brings like a what is it, like a steady or solid flow. It helps me keep focused, just like music does. Meditations are hard. That's hard. One thing I do though, I listen to sleep meditations every single night because I am insomniac. Okay, I used to smoke and drink to try to keep it at bay, but I still struggle with sleep. So I do sleep meditations. Now that has actually helped, but it's also helped with my focus quite a bit. So with tarot, it was kind of like a double whammy, and not only did it kick away some of the distress of not sleeping, but it also kicked away some of that harder shit, like maintaining calmness during tarot. I like talk meditations. So there's this dude named Michael Seeley on YouTube um, that does sleep meditation, where if you can sleep with something in the background, I highly suggest him, because whatever he be saying, I'm telling you, it's a full blown manifestation. Like, that's what it feel like to me. You know, he does affirmations. He does do manifestation meditations. He does a lot. Lucid dreaming. I've always had lucid dreams, and this has made me tap into them even more and be able to control them. You know, I fully believe that it was him doing that and walking me through that versus it being a situation where I just suddenly became able to control some of my lucid dreaming things. You know what I mean? Like, because with lucid dreams, a lot of them, it's intense and it can feel really like an attack. But once you get a handle on that shit, I'm telling you, you get so many subliminals, so many messages about people around you, about your life, about other people's lives. You get dreams about things that are going to happen on a world scale level. So I do all the time. I write them down. I've been doing shadow work. That's good, Jen. And taking that time out and really, really, really looking at yourself is really important. I did the same not even a couple of months ago, probably like a month and a half ago. How did your tarot interest start? I learned, so I had a couple friends in high school who were kind of interested in tarot, not necessarily to the extent where they were actually doing tarot, but to the extent where they were just interested. And so I ended up getting a deck at a old bookstore, some old musty bookstore, and I ended up using that and figuring out that I was accurate, though I didn't really know what I was being accurate about. You know, I didn't really understand it too much, just because I was like, I was first very skeptical. I was very intensely skeptical of anything. I loved the paranormal, right? I loved the paranormal, loved all of that, but I thought it was hooey. I thought it was bullshit. You know, I'm not gonna lie, right? This was probably has to be like 8 years ago now. 7 or 8 years ago. But I was probably like 16 when I played with my first deck of cards and gave people accurate readings, and then I lost interest for about 2 or 3 years. I kept it. I don't know where I kept it, honestly. But I ended up buying another deck once I came across tarot again. I didn't actually find it. I wasn't introduced on YouTube tarot for a second. I actually learned that my grandmother did over the phone tarot reads, and I started doing a lot of research on it just because I was more interested in spirituality and learning about it, because I was not religious whatsoever, and I still consider myself to be a little bit lean towards not religious, but I do pay attention to my culture and my background and where I come from, my roots. and I practice some of that spirituality. I add it into my daily just because it helps keep me grounded. But candles do not deliver to Australia. I'll add Australia on there too. I think I did Canada and the UK, and I'll add Australia on too. If I have it yet. There should be another shipping option for Australia, so that's weird. I thought I added it on. I guess I didn't. But yeah, no, I mean, it was just purely the fact that I never knew my family members had been interested in it, and I was joking about it. And I actually learned how to shuffle my first deck of cards from my grandmother, because she was, she did that little, mama play with numbers type shit. She trying to play with numbers and shit. But yeah, she used to do tarot and shit over the phone, readings. And I always found that interesting, that she, for me, in my life, a very skeptical person, not a God believer, not an anything believer, truthfully, did tarot. I thought that was real. Yeah, you can be like a scammer and stuff like that. And of course, it was very prevalent in that particular era, in the 70s and 80s, just because it was looked at a little bit, different. How did you shuffle? Can we? Because there would be that. I don't do anything. Like, how people do be doing that extra ass bridge? I don't be doing that. Fuck that. That flings the cards everywhere. Because all the cards are different card stock. So I don't be doing that. I wanted to do a tarot class not that long ago, but it's just difficult to balance that and to be able to help people understand. Let's see. It's something I would have to coordinate a little bit more. I don't know how to show you necessarily. I guess I could. I don't know how to show you. I mean, there is ways that I can do it like this. So, can y'all even see my motherfucking ass? So you can just put the decks together like that. I don't know how to describe it other than this, because I can't move this. Otherwise, it'll tip the whole entire tripod over. So there is ways that you could do it like that. I do that. I also do shuffles like this. You cut the deck in certain places, but you do it quickly. You do it fast. And this is slow, so this isn't accurate, but more like that. You kind of just let cards fall out. And then, of course, there's the split the deck. And there's that method of shuffling. It's just normal card shuffle that you do in like poker and shit. If you see me looking over here, I'm actually looking at what y'all can see. Trying to. But other than that, that's what's up. That's what's up. Dude, this candle's really busted ass over here. This has got my motherfucking everything. I feel like I'm gonna smell like a walking, talking candle when I get out this room. God damn, dude. It's crazy. Damn, my whole room. I've seen some people not even really shuffle. I've seen them just separate the decks into 3 piles and then fucking scramble them around a little bit. I've also seen people just do like a little basic shuffle and then pick 3 cards off the top, like scale them off. Some people like that, but for me, I'm like, I need that fast-paced shuffle. Let them fall out. Whatever falls out is a card that I'll take. You said like cards be dropping, right? But some readers like to shuffle, then after that there's no cards dropping, but only pick cards from the front of the deck. Yeah, but they still be accurate. But how? Angelica, you're gonna have to learn this all by yourself and how you can. Contact candle, how I feel like that. I feel like that. This shit is strong, dude. It's making my throat hurt a little bit. Gotta be careful with these damn candles. That scent is wild. I can't tell. Listen, I can't tell you how to use your intuition. You gotta teach yourself. Whatever you think will work. You know, it's more of a personal perception. What do you perceive tarot as? When you look at tarot, you said look on the bottom first. Second is, I don't do that. Fuck. If you think I'm coordinated like that, you're dead wrong. I never done tarot that way. I'm saying it's specific to the person completely. There's no rules in what you do and how you do. There's no rules. So I'm just saying, in my personal opinion, I ain't never followed no look at the bottom and split the shit and split her in half and roll the card over, spin it around upside down, and put it in the middle. I never done that. I'm not saying it's bad for you to do that if you're someone who is coordinated enough to do that and likes like the what is it, perfection of that. I'm not. I've never done that. Sorry if that was sounding a little bit disrespectful. It was supposed to. I don't think there is one reader out here that can tell you how to read a deck. That's the thing. Some read it as a story, and I cannot do this. I just don't think there is one way of reading tarot. In my personal perspective, every single human being reads tarot differently. I cannot dictate how you pull out a card, how you drop a card, and how you read that or perceive that for yourself. Because that is a personal experience. So when you're looking at the card, you might narrow in on something on that motherfucking picture that I ain't motherfucking see. As far as the layouts of the cards, now there is like different things, I guess, in some tarot books, and more like the ones that are more particular. They have different layouts that you can do where it's like 3 down and 2 to the side, and one's the future, one's the past, and this and that. But no, not one person can tell you how to read the cards, and I'm letting you know that now. Now I can tell you the meanings of some of the cards, right? But in certain situations, say you're reading for somebody else or reading for some particular person who has a particular situation, it means something different for everyone. So you can know like the baseline meaning, but you kind of have to snowball and figure out what it means to that person intuitively, emotionally. It's not just, this is not easy. This is not easy street where it's like, oh, we get to like, let's just sit there and like babble off about whatever. Like there are some readers that do that, and some people really fall into the bullshit, right? But in my personal perception, there is no one on this planet that can tell me how to read a deck of cards. I just learned how to do that. And it was very spontaneous. It was something that I wanted to learn. Because I wanted to learn it, I consistently made the effort to do so. And in that, I also learned that I had a gift. Now, whether that gift is something that's not like applicable to pretty much anyone, I kind of argue with myself about that. I just think I have focused on it so much that it's grown bigger. It's like, it's a part of you that just keeps on growing if you pay attention to it, and you can, I do honestly think that you can become rusty and lose some of these things, some of your intuition, just based on the fact that there's certain aspects in your life where you kind of don't pay attention to it. You know what I mean? You choose to deny it instead of choosing to pay attention to your intuition. And there's some people that use that shit all throughout their life. Like, now I know some old crunchy motherfuckers. Crunchy with all respect. Crunchy with all due respect. Uncrustables. That still to this day, in their 70s and 80s, be using tarot cards. And they can't, you know, and honestly, they have never suggested to me. There's people in my family that actually do tarot cards, or have done tarot cards. One person recently passed away, and she was 75, doing tarot cards still, doing astrology and tarot cards just for herself, just for her own personal, whatever. Very spiritual person in life though. So it's like some people latch on and some people really don't. Some people don't latch on forever, and some people choose to use it in a different way. They don't want to use tarot cards. They rather use something else. I use books, dictionary, music, anything. Really, literally, you can use anything. But please do not constrict yourself to one way of doing it, because that restricts your messages and what you want to put out to people if you're trying to do it for others. And if you're trying to do it for yourself, it also restricts that as well. It can. The perception is endless. So don't, you know, think that there's one way that all these readers are doing it. They're all different. Don't lump readers in with other readers. And I'm not saying that as like, oh, you know, we know who's best. We know who's better. I'm not saying it like that. I'm saying it like we all read incredibly different. Don't lift us on a pedestal or a platform where you think that we tapped into the secret of reading and knowing how people, you know, how people move, how people feel. Don't think that. It's a personal perception. It's personal perception. How do you do the astrology readings? Look it up. Because I'm not going down that explanation of rabbit hole either. But is what it is. The dictionary one always trips me up. I like the dictionary. The dictionary is funny. I think it's funny because they come up with certain words where like you never ever heard of some of them words. That's like the fucking 1800s. They be talking about like kerfuffle and shit. They be talking about words you ain't never hear in actual life, and I love that. But when you read the definition of the words, that's where the shit counts. I ain't telling you how to do no astrology really. When I read an astrology chart, it's pretty much similar. It's pretty much the same. You know, I know all the signs. I know how they feel and how they dictate certain pieces of the chart. I know the baseline. I don't know all the times in that. I don't know like the times, like what the times even mean, to be honest with you, and I don't care, or the degrees and the times and the this and the that. Leo was an asshole on this particular day in this particular year, and this means I don't know about that, but you know, I know the baseline of both Vedic and Western, so I know what they mean. I know what they mean in each placement, in each house, and how they kind of dictate a person's life or personality. Some motherfuckers are so specific with that shit though. Them Vedic readers, holy shit, dude, that's crazy. They can predict like the fucking birthmark that you got on your ass type shit. Like they can get down to the nitty. And if you never had a Vedic astrology reading, that shit is woo shit, man. That shit is crazy. And that's why, like I said, I believe for me, Western astrology don't tap deep like that. They don't tap deep like that. Vedic astrology is crazy, dude. That's why I say I'm Capricorn through and through. That motherfucker. It's nuts. You talk about fucking predictions with that motherfucker. Whoa. You learn the chart though, if you want to do astrology reading, whatever. That's it. Where is my dictionary? I don't. Did I set it over on the shelf? I don't see it. Is it down here? Yeah, it is. See, I don't want to knock everything over to get this, but I wanted to give an example. I've had a good chart made, but not an actual reading. I can read up to the basics. I cannot do like the shit where they start talking about all the degrees and that, like Rahu and all that. Like once we start hitting certain parts of it, I'm like, come on now, y'all. Come on now. And not only that, there's several different versions of the chart that can mean very, very different things. Many people made their own chart and their own perception, just like with tarot, right? They made their own chart and own perception of astrology. And, you know, it's crazy. Were the Italians the first tarot cards? The Italians, that's what they say in history. My Sicilian blood says, no, I'm playing. I'll stop. No. In history, they do say that many of the fortune tellers and that were actually, you know, like the gypsy type Italians, like the traveler type Italians. Not like the fortune teller in the fucking alleyway, though I'm sure there was those types, but more like they predicted it because it was a way of life for them, like a everyday way of life spiritually for them, to use tarot cards to predict things like marriage, death, you know, just normal bouts of life. They would use tarot cards for. So, you know what I mean? Usually, though, it was Romanian originally. And then Italy kind of adapted that into its own little separate category where they started looking into astrology a lot more, comparing and contrasting the astrology signs to tarot cards. Because remember, y'all, the original tarot cards had absolutely nothing to do with the stars and how they align. Okay, the astrology, you know, the fortune teller that sits there at the table, they're going, woo, woo, woo. Like that shit in the beginning had absolutely nothing to do with actual stars and shit. It was literally cards, right? Cards with depictions on them. It was to tell fortunes specifically, just like when they do the hand shit, right? When they would do the hand shit, they're like, this line right here is the heart line. This line right here is the head line. You know, like that type of shit. Okay. And we don't necessarily know the actual extent of where most of these things come from. We only have we use physical basis. So we use like, if there was an old ass tarot card, we're like, okay, you know, we only really have this one, so we're gonna say it's from this era, but we don't necessarily know. They could have been using it for a lot longer. We just don't have the language, because a lot of Romanians actually, you know, they did not write down their stories necessarily. You know, that's why their gypsies are thinned out today. They didn't write down the shit. Well, that's not why they were thinned out today. Let's be real. Slavers. Let's be real. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. But a lot of it was spoken orally. So all of the history that we could know was gone, because the people were enslaved and washed out. The truth was washed out with it. So we don't know necessarily where the pictures on the cards and stuff came from. We know that they didn't originally have writing on them, though, and they didn't originally revolve around astrology. We know that the original decks of tarot cards were not like that. Then we adapted Rider-Waite's and stuff like that, because, you know, the original deck of cards was just pictures, depictions, and then it became something a little bit more with astrology. Okay, so before it was like a picture book. It genuinely was. It was like hieroglyphics. Let's see what they talk about in the dictionary. Fish fry. I am alone. Fish in a barrel. It's gonna remind me of fish in a barrel. What does that mean even mean? Or what's the meaning behind fish in a barrel? They can't escape. CASHAPP. Yeah, we can talk about fish in the barrel again. Got them all hooked. You said you have to be a Gemini. What you mean? What you talk about? I don't know what you talk about. Who? Not me. Original tarot cards were not. They were not as sophisticated as they are in Italian term. Remember, there was a lot of slaving and a lot of abuse and neglect that went on during those times, particularly towards the Romanians. Romanians being very, very dark skinned and also like a complete other mix of race. No, having the Italian, but also, like I said, being dark skinned particularly was one of the downfall, right? And being very in touch with spirituality was also a trigger to the Italians. So, as good as slaves, as they say. Yeah, listen, I know my background. I know I got a little bit of Romanian in me. Or I got a little bit of everything in me, to be honest with you. But I know all that. Southern Italy, taking the slaves, shipping them everywhere, treating them like shit, washing out all of their religion, which they did to black people too. Y'all already know. They did that to African as well. And everybody. You're smart as fuck. When I'm interested in something, I go down the rabbit hole. I do have Gemini, significant Gemini, placed Gemini Mercury. And in Western astrology, I'm Gemini ascendant. But I retain information that I care about. That's why I kind of take. I take more information in when it revolves around history, because I like history. I'm more of a history buff. I'm interested in that. I like knowing the truth of where we came from and not reading the books, because the books are lies, majority of them. And if you look to see who they're written by, tons of those people also wrote very racist, disgusting books as well. You know what I mean? So there's not really anybody to trust out here when it comes to, truth. Many people being afraid to write the truth or not wanting to, on the basis of their own selfish needs. So, in pride. So, in my opinion, right, historically now when we look back, we're seeing a lot of washed shit. Just shit that just got washed away with everything else. Out of the Matrix. I don't really believe in the Matrix necessarily, but I do believe that humans, and specifically, Americans, are very self-centered. Very, very. The normal American is a complete and utter narcissist. And I think that because we have such low-level perception of people outside of us, and we like to basically, insult them and say that we're way more modernized and everything. It's like, or hundreds of years in front of them. It's like they learned how to be happy in their own right. And we took that away from them. It's like, who the fuck knows what they want, right? Who knows what they want, right? At the end of the day, we never asked them. We just took. We just took it. We just stole all of it. We stole all of everything. We took it. And then we don't let people come into our country. We don't let people immigrate. We put them through a horrible ass test that not even the average fucking American could get by. Good old America. Born and bred. But yeah, no, I do have Gemini, a lot of Gemini on my chart, but a lot of my family is like crazy into history. Um, my family has always been very because they're both my grandparents are second generation immigrants, so they both had their fair share of. I mean, not so much my grandmother being, well, she's a redhead, but just being mistreated, for sure, being looked at some type of way. So I know all of these things just by second nature because I was raised by my grandparents. They taught me to be very, very aware. They introduced me to all the music of my peoples, of a different generation of peoples. They taught me how to read and use discretion and keep in mind that many people during certain eras were all washed and fucked in the head. They taught me to use very, be empathetic, because at the end of the day, right, we have taken and destroyed and rebuilt a infrastructure that it's imperfect, and it's bad. It's wrong what we do to people here in America. It might be, okay, we can say it's better than the worst conditions, but we don't even, as Americans, as the average American, we don't even know what the worst conditions are. We don't, because we don't care. We don't care. So better than nothing. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Welcome. But we don't care. Not to make things political or anything like that, but we just don't. We say we have our own lives to live. We can only worry about ourselves, but in reality, it's like it would help us significantly if we would worry about other people as well, because those other people can be what helps not only our economy, but also helps our government change for the better. When it's treating all peoples equally, for real. For real. So, empathy is key word towards other peoples. Sometimes you can run into a little danger when you become a little bit more selfless, though. You still have to have a sense of selfishness in some points of your life. Otherwise, you'll get ran the fuck over. And, you'll get shit on. But, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I'm kind of hungry, y'all. What y'all hungry for? I'm kind of like... kind of feeling for some. Thanks, Jen. I didn't think I'd get all philosophical, political, but it's one of those moods, I guess, too. Sometimes I can't help myself. But yeah, tarot cards are such an interesting steal, right? Because in order to use something so, based off of spirituality, literally based off of a certain culture's spirituality, we have to... That's weird. It's just a weird tool. In my opinion, the average person who uses a tarot is using it in a way that's improper. And it's not because they're not respecting their ancestors or doing this and doing that. It's not about that. It's about being in control. And when you're learning that when you're not in control, you also misinform people and you give people the wrong idea. You make people paranoid as fuck. When you're being relied on to broadcast to hundreds, if not thousands of people, and you're going to sit there and project and base all of your information that you're getting off of your own Like I said, your own personal. That's why I say separate yourself from tarot itself and from this world for a second. That's what you need to do when you read. It becomes a challenge to actually get through all of your bullshit and then have that person actually retain the information they need in order to learn through their situation. So a lot of tarot readers on here make it really hard because we don't care about your struggles or what you're going through. You know, at the end of the day, I know that when people come to me, they don't care about me. They don't care about the fuck. They don't, you know, they might ask how my day is out of common courtesy, but they don't give a fuck about me. Now, I know what the fuck they're coming in for. It's like we aren't going to ever develop like a personal relationship, but you're here to learn something and I'm here to learn something. You know, or, you know, financially take a little something, right? It's knowing the exchange and knowing when to not overstep. Also knowing when to not come online. Because to be honest with you, there's days where I'm like, oh, I really want to get online, but my shit is all off. Like my energy's just all off. And so I'm like, I shouldn't put this near or on other people. You know, I need to fix myself before I wreck myself. And then, you know, wreck other people as a consequence. It was just never something I want to do. I don't want that lesson to be someone else's, you know, pain or struggle or anything like that. Or, you know, me coming on here and trivializing shit. Because it's not easy. And it's not like, you know, y'all are coming in here with just bullshit all the time. Where it's like, oh, yeah, my boyfriend's doing this and doing that. And oh my God, you know, I think my boyfriend's cheating on me. Like, it's not all paranoia, you know what I mean? It's real, actual life. It's genuine life. So most tarot readers on here just don't have that type of consideration. They don't care if you have an actual life. They just take advantage of you at your lowest period of time and then refuse to fix themselves. It's sad. You know, it's really fucked and sad because you're wanting to learn. That is why you come to tarot readers. That's why you go to a therapist, right? And that's at the end of the day, even a medical fucking professional will tell you, we don't know if we can help you, but we can sure damn try, right? That's why people come to you. It's like, you know, give me useful information. And if not, like, at least let me sit there and enjoy the vibe and chill and be calm. Let me sit there and enjoy what I'm taking in as content and as an experience, as entertainment. So that's why I don't like a lot of this. It's so misconstrued and it's misused. And when certain people get their hands on certain things, it's not only is it exploitative, it's also very harmful to the groups and the minds of people who are already fucked over. And if you're fucking over your community of people, a certain community of people, out of spite, like, you're destroying hundreds of lives on top of that. And even if you're only destroying a handful of lives, that shit's gonna come back on you. I'm sorry, but it will. It just will. You know, you don't even have to be inherently an evil person. You just have to literally be a professional and know what you're doing. Because the side effects of that are it's a consequence. It's really consequential. It's not good to play around where you don't belong. It's that simple. It's like, if you're not gonna do the work to get there, if you're not gonna grind, then don't do it at all. Don't do it. Just don't. Now, parents say to me to stop watching and listening to tarot. I like learning. I love learning too. That's part of the reason why I follow certain tarot readers on here. I think I have them all listed on my account of who I actually will sometimes tap into. I like watching them because, to me, they're legitimate. And as much as I love to say that, like, you know, whatever, like, they're pretty good, I also think they have a fair amount of, like, humanity. So I watch them. But there, like I said, there's some that are really, really crazy, man. Really fucking crazy. Oh, man. Nuts. Do you know anything about psychic / medium type attacks? I do. So in in all honesty, what I think it is, and most people I think would agree with me on this. It's energy. It's about the energy. It's not about the. It's not about like word attacks and that sort of thing. Like nobody really gives a fuck if someone's calling you a bitch or a cunt behind your back. It's not about that. It's when someone is personally trying out to make your life a living hell, and they are spreading things that are harmful, right? Because like calling someone a bitch, that's not really gonna do nothing. But if you're going in depth and talking shit about people's lives, talking shit about people's, like getting real in depth in there, I think because someone can be so obsessed with you and wrapped into that idea of like attacking you verbally, they can affect you as well physically. If you're in as far as like protection goes, I guess the only thing you can actually do is just keep yourself detached from that type of energy. You're gonna keep getting attacked if you don't detach. That's it's as simple as that. Excuse me. It's as simple as that. You can't choose to associate and also not expect, I guess, certain types of people, especially if you're dealing with jealousy, especially if you're dealing with envious peoples, to come down on you, rain down on you. Because just as a habit of being sensitive, right? You don't even need to know tarot. Just as a habit of being a sensitive person, you already know when someone don't like you. You already know when someone doesn't like the choices that you make. You already know when someone belittles you or criticizes you or looks at you in a certain type of way. You already know that. Okay? So know that there is a certain type of boundary that you have to have with people that eliminates that idea that someone's going to get that close to you where they can hurt you. Okay, so as far as spilling out personal information and, trying to level with somebody on an emotional level, try to avoid that, is my suggestion. If you struggle desperately with psychic attacks, you tap into someone and it feels like you're dying and shit like that, just separate. I was attacked by a dead person. I believe that. I think that, but in my opinion, okay, and this is just an opinion, I don't think dead people attack for themselves. I don't think dead people attack for themselves. I just don't. I think they attack people who are that they perceive is trying to harm their legacy. I don't think that people attack from a place of emotions. I think they protect legacy. I think they protect future. I don't think they protect somebody that they're emotionally attached or involved with. I don't necessarily know if spirits feel love or dead people feel love or hate, or I just think they have a very strong energy that can sometimes, like I said, punish people. And I think that's often what readers use as a means of reading tarot. I think at times this energy manipulation, like, when I'm reading you and I'm reading your situation, I think sometimes I can dictate where your life goes. And obviously, like I said, it's all a choice within a person's mind on whether they want to go the direction that you're reading or not. But I often think it's the power of suggestion as well, where I can dictate where your life goes depending on what type of information I give you through the cards, right? And through intuition. So if there is any source of like attachments with dead people, my way of dealing with them is by acknowledging first that I'm dealing with. Now, when I attach it into someone's energy, I'm not only involving myself into a living person who has a very strong aura, because those are the types of people I choose to read for, or I'm also dealing with dead people, because everyone has them. Everyone has some type of energy around them, and I'm not saying it's like your dead Grammy and this person and that person. A lot of us, it is those people that had attached to you in life. They are also still attached to you in death. Keep that in mind. Like your mom and your grandpappy and grandma, the people you had a close bond with, they attached to you. It's not emotional after death. Okay, in my view, it's not emotional. Because when I read it for a dead person, when you communicate with a dead person, it's different from communicating with living. It's not like you're talking to them with your mouth. Okay, it's not like you can emphasize anything. You hear, it's almost as if like you can feel them or hear them, and you hear them with ups and ebbs and flows, like energy bumps. That's what I feel when I read for dead. That's how I know whether I'm right or wrong. That's how I sense someone's personality was in life. Because that's also difficult sometimes to tap into for some readers. It's like, is someone really attacking me, or is this just how their energy was in life? Because talk about explosive people are people who just had a lot of that energy in life, where it's just like go-getter energy, or like very much like you can say aggressive. I think they still carry that shit in death too. I just don't think they carry like the emotion of hatred. I don't think they carry the emotion of hatred or love. I do think they protect legacy though, if that makes sense. They attach down to someone. They tether themselves to someone. And that's why you can also have people who weren't your family members as well tether themselves to you and attach to you. It's because dead people tether themselves to living energies or entities. Energies that you can believe that are stronger than them in presence. But like I said, they attach. They don't feel, they're like, oh my God, I love this person. They loved you in life. They attach to you in death probably out of a place of trust, you know. But also, I just feel like it's energy. Energy draws energy. Just like we draw other living people, right? We attract other living people. You don't have to be the prettiest. You could be a real ugly fucking mug and attract, you know, a beautiful fucking person just based off of energy exchange, right? Because when you got that shit, you got that shit. When you lock eyes and you got that shit, you got that shit. We don't even need to talk. We just look. We like, shit. Shit, man. It's just sexy. You know what I mean? You said, I felt like I was hit by a truck and I was nauseous. I got hot flashes. It was crazy. You know, I want to believe that, like, in some types of ways they attack. But I don't, you know, for me, I don't believe that. Okay? And that's, I mean, that's probably how it felt, because it is extreme. And it can take over your body, because it feels like they're trying to possess you, right? Override your body, your system. I don't believe that if we call them spirits, right? I don't necessarily believe that they come with malice. I don't believe they hold hate in. They don't have a heart no more, right? They don't have a human mind anymore to restrain them, right? Their energy. They might present themselves in a specific way in how you knew them in physical life, but you got to understand, death is a whole other journey. We don't have any clue until we die. So as far as like reuniting, or, you know, maybe you're going to hell or heaven, where we're at right now is all we know. That is it. And when I communicate with dead people, they don't speak in tongues or secret. They're very direct. Like, there's no emotion involved. Like, when I read for a dead person, you'll catch me laughing, because a lot of the time I don't read emotion in these people. I don't read emotion in spirits. I just don't. I feel energy. And when I feel that buzz, like there's a buzz that jets up my motherfucking body, like electricity in my body, like it feels like someone's taking a, you know, a defibrillator or shit. Like, to me, it's energy. It's all of that. Yes, sometimes energy can power you in different ways, though. Trust and believe. Some energy can make you cry. Some energy can make you feel very, very pumped up. It's like, you know, being on drugs a little. It's kind of like smoking. It's like smoking different strains almost. But this is the thing. What spirits know is that they can control energy around you, electricity, different forms of energy around you. they can overwhelm you and overtake you. They know they can do that. They're fully aware of the fact that they have control of certain properties that us in life do not understand. Living people, for me personally, I do believe that living people use energy every day. We just don't acknowledge it as energy. We acknowledge it as communication. We acknowledge it as more of an attraction, a positive or negative attraction, but we definitely use energy every single day as well. So, you said I can go to my dad's grave and talk to him like he's still alive. It's amazing. Yeah, in certain ways, I think there's a remnants? I want to say remnants, because I don't think that our brains and our personalities just disappear, but I also don't think they're attached to spirit. I think a spirit or energy is separate from whatever. So my belief, and this is the belief of many different cultures, but in my belief system, there is three separate forms that come from the body during death, right? We talk about the mind, and we talk about the soul, and we talk about intelligence, I guess, or that there's three different parts to me. It's like kind of like a sandwich, nice sandwich of things. I don't think those three parts stay together. In fact, I think people fragment quite often because there's different pieces of you that need to learn specific tasks. That's like all of us in life have tasks. I believe spirits also have a task as well. Now, I think different parts of them have different tasks. They don't have a body to confine them anymore, so they can go and do whatever the fuck they need to do, what they want to do, essentially. Not that it's a free-for-all, but they have a certain task, just like every single animal. It's like every single thing. Just like fucking the sun feeds the plants of the planet. I think the whole entire plane of existence shifts for them. So they don't have to, they no longer worry about human problems. Human problems are human problems. Okay? That becomes an us problem. Now, dimensional shit, if some of y'all believe in like dimensional shit, I do. I absolutely do. I think we travel dimensions and channels all the time in dreams, in the dream state. That's where you see dead people primarily, right? You see them in a dream state. And you have to go in like deep lucid dreaming. And if you're somebody who typically will fall in line with seeing a lot of dead people in the sleep, recognize a couple things about them when you see them. When I see dead people, it's not like seeing them when they were alive. They are a completely different form. I notice that, right? I notice when I see my grandmother, there's no emotion in her eyes. No emotion on her face at all, right? At all. None. And it's not just because I saw her dead body, okay? To me, her dead body didn't even look like her. I see her, right? In a physical form. That's how I saw her in life. But her face is dead. There's no emotion in her eyes. And also, another thing dead people do to me all the time. They talk to me not through vocal communication, but through my mind. When I'm asleep, they talk through my mind. It's almost as if someone's talking in like a cavern in your head. That's what it feels like to me. Now that could be a personal experience, and that could also be, if anyone else has experiences like that, let me know. But to me, it's like a cavern, right, in my mind. They talk to me through here, like telepathy. When I sleep, especially, it's like telepathy. The voice that you hear is not like the voice of a human being. Does anyone else feel that? It's not like our voices. It's way more on like, that's why people believe in like frequencies and stuff like that. I do believe they communicate and they exist on a whole other different form and plane of in entirely. Okay, entirely. I believe that. Okay, I believe that. But they have a job still. That's why they still exist and they still revolve around us. Energy attaches to energy, creates more energy, a surplus of energy to continue to support things like plants, things like animals, things like human beings, other life forms. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. And my experiences, like I said, they get more and more extensive every time I have dreams about my people who have passed in my life. It's never sad, you know. It's never I can separate myself from the grief of living life without them in my dream state, and I can have and hold conversations with them. Like I said, it's all through telepathy. I look into their eyes and can understand what they mean and what they mean and what they're saying. It doesn't matter whether it's in their voice or another voice, but when I see them and I'm able to look into their eyes and we're able to communicate, that's, like I said, it's like telepathy. She don't even need to open her mouth type shit. Just talks to me. And to me, those are it's a whole other plane of existence. Whole other species or whatever the fuck it is. But it's something. And it's crazy. It's crazy to think about. It's crazy to talk about. Because now we're getting, now in life, we're finally getting somewhere with like the UFOs, you know. We're finally getting somewhere with like aliens and that type of experience, right? And those are the things that are also kind of playing in my mind as like, they're possibilities, but who even knows if they exist on this level of existence, right? Because at the end of the day, people claim to see flashes of spirits and ghosts. And there's definitely like things that happen energetically that's really weird, that I would classify as paranormal if I don't fucking know what it is. I don't know if it's a spirit or if it's me. I could be doing Matilda with the shoes or whatever. I don't know what it is. But at the same time, I can take a hot guess and say there's something there. There's something energetically there. Whether that's the person that I remember in life or it's something else entirely that's stronger, that's much more capable of doing things metaphysically and manifesting and challenging, certain life principles just because there's no physical body involved, or helping me with tarot or with spiritual understanding and understanding myself better. It's like angels, right? That's how people describe angels in the Bible. I'm not trying to make this about the Bible because I'm sorry, y'all, but you could not put a Bible up against my head. You could not do that. But, if you believe in God, more power to you. Enjoy that love of God. He kept saying, let it go in my mind and everything is okay. I felt overwhelming emotion came over me because I only seen brightness. Yes. So if it makes sense, you can feel your own sadness, right? Your own mourning, your own sadness. But my capacity, when I'm in my dream state, my capacity to take these things is a lot more extreme, where I can like fully commune, fully have conversations, take in dates and numbers, and that's why I write everything down constantly. Because when I'm being shown something, I want to be able to compare it to what's happening in real life for me, and it always matches up or adds up. Whether these things act, to me, I think sometimes I'm like, maybe these dreams are coming because it's something that's already happened in another fucking dimension. Maybe that's why we get little dreams and little intuitive bumps. It's happening somewhere else. And whether we're being warned or whatever, our brains don't just make up shit on the fly. I don't know why people think that's the way brains work. Brains have a very specific purpose. Okay, not only is it to store all the memories and all of the things to keep us alive and to survive, but it's to continue to support life even after us, to continue to support the generations after us, to make inference and guesses into, what's going to happen next. So using intuition is like our baseline. Using, what do they call it? We learn things based on experience, right? And when we experience those things, we never forget those things, and we pass that to our children. Not always orally, right? Because there's sometimes where you can literally not teach your kid anything, and suddenly your kid will come up with something, and you'll be like, "How did you know that? How did you know that?" Weird, right? No. Even biology surpasses what we think is capable or possible. Our brains are crazy shit, dude. We've been around the block a couple of times, us humans. We've been around the block a couple of times as human beings. Okay? As whatever we are. Honestly, we didn't have to be humans before. We don't even know if we are. But we've been around the block a couple of times. So let's just make that clear. We are way older than what scientists be saying we are. You watch that Bone documentary on Netflix, anyone? We are way older than what scientists. We are not just 250,000 years old. We are way older than that. And we remember everything. We internalize everything. That's what this brain is for. This big meaty motherfucking muscle in our head. That's what that's for. So I'm just saying. People can't survive without their brains. I'm not saying that. You know, I'm saying there's people who survive brain dead, right? And the only thing, but you realize, this is why I say parts, y'all. This is why I say we're built in parts. It's because the people that are brain dead, you see how they're still able to experience emotions, right? You see how they're still able to laugh and cry, even if they don't understand. They're still able to laugh and cry and giggle. Come on now, y'all. Past life regression. Was a boy and I got stabbed in myself. I have a lot of those too. Now, I can't. For me, my only logical form of explanation for things of that nature would be that we genetically pass down memories of our actual biological line. We pass down memories. It's very possible that our whole entire brain remembers pretty much every single form of resolute. So every single form of genetic polling. Like, anytime our genes change, anytime our bodies change, anytime our situations change, anytime the world changed, basically remembered everything. When communication started becoming verbal, we might remember all the way back until like the dinosaur era, right? Because that would explain some of the things that people were talking about in the Bible type of shit. Let's be real. That would explain some of those, like, people be like, oh my God, there was a fucking goat head, a person with a goat head and a fucking, you know, hoof on his ass or whatever. You know what I mean? You know, sorry to be so vulgar. Those of you that don't like vulgarity, but to me, there's a lot more to explain. Scientists don't tell us everything. They don't tell us their thoughts because they don't want people to know what's going on. It's not just for the simple fact of paranoia and mass delirium, because they know at the end of the day, you know, there's always going to be people who doubt scientists, who will never ever believe them just for what they do today, right? There's a lot of reputable scientists though. You know, Stephen Hawking wasn't a bad guy. What's that one black dude with a hair with a stripe in his hair? He's not bad either. They're all open to. As a scientist, you're meant to be open to all possibilities, no matter what. Even if it's a 0.1% chance, you're open to every single possibility that is known to us as humans. based off of it's evidence-based learning. Like I said, it's very possible that we remember every single thing from our past, generations and generations and generations and generations, even when we were still becoming the humans that we are now. Prior to that, hominids, different species, it's very possible that we remember everything. We just can't tap into that. In our current physical state, there is no way that we can tap into that. We'd have to be like computers, basically. And it's possible that computers are already reaching that level. But anyways, it's possible that computers have already kind of reached that level of, coming in touch with the information. All right, Angelica. What's your question? Yeah, I'll go get some food. I don't know. Interesting talks, y'all. Interesting talks. There's a lot of things I think about, honestly. Does your throat tattoo hurt? No. The only thing I would say is I do have a pretty crazy pain tolerance. So I would say for the average person, it's not the worst. I've heard the worst is the ribs. I have my legs tattooed, arms, fingers, chest, neck, face. If F and me will reconcile, let's see. Loving the podcast. Of course. I will entertain every sort of crazy theory. I love talking about this type of stuff. And my personal beliefs, I love sharing that, and I love learning other people's beliefs as well. I like to hear what people have to say, because for the most part, you're just not going to hear that anywhere. You're not going to hear this type of shit anywhere else. Like, truthfully, they're not going to ask an audience. Let's be real. They don't ever ask audience anything. They just make assumptions that everyone agrees with them. They don't like to debate. Angelica, let's see. Will F and U reconcile? Waiting again. That one, no. It's looking like a no. Okay, let me get into kind of the reason why. Okay, so backstabbed, feeling a little hurt, I think there's definitely childish behavior at play here. I think both of you kind of went in with this idea that this relationship wasn't going to last long in the first place. That there was toxicity on both sides. I totally believe that you guys went in knowing that this relationship and this connection had already been like a little weird, a little toxic, a little toiled and strange. I'm a conspiracy theorist too. I listen. Whatever it is, I think it's okay to wonder about life. It's okay to wonder about life. We have for the rest of our lives to wonder. But anyways, so between you and F, I think that the toxicity it evolved into something that was very unnecessary. Okay, 5 of Sticks in the reverse and Son of Coins in the reverse. You knew nothing about this person. I don't think you knew to the extent of what this person was doing to themselves and doing to other people. I don't think you knew much about this person and their behavior. I don't think you knew that much about him. I think you went in kind of being happy to entertain him because he seemed he seemed perfect. He seemed perfect. Like he did. I'm gonna be real. He seemed perfect for your type of the type of woman that you are. Okay, he seemed perfect for you, right? But that perfection
could be up to a certain point, right? Because then you started getting a little bit salty, because you started seeing the distance behavior, the behavior where, you know, he was taking a lot of time for himself and not really paying attention to the fact that he was in a committed relationship. Because for one, he's scared of commitment. Okay, that was the one card that popped out. The very first card that popped out in reverse was Nine of Knives in reverse, which is someone who is so hard to pin down that it's more than likely that you won't ever pin them down. It's more than likely they will last that way until, you know, their last breath. They're stubborn as shit. There's a lot of pride involved here. Not a lot of truth. There's a lot of the troubled past, like the mommy issues, the daddy issues. There's not a level of stability here where I could say, Angelica, it would be a good idea to reconcile. And plus, as far as what I can see, is that he doesn't want to. So from what I see, I don't think he wants to. I would say he's an opportunist, and he's childish. He can't help the fact that, you know, he did have some feelings for you, but I feel like his feelings were not of love. It was more or less this obsession of like, oh, you think I'm perfect, or oh, you think, it's like trying to prove you wrong. That's what I feel like. Oh, you think I'm perfect? You know, let me prove you wrong by doing something shitty and horrible, or saying something fucking whacked and fucked up. It's like almost that your perfectionism of him, or your mentality of him, he wanted to ruin you. He wanted to ruin you. He wanted to make sure that you remember him. Like, it put an imprint on you. Make it so, like, unbelievably, like, what is it, gaslighty? I don't know. What would the terminology be? He just wanted to gaslight the fuck out of you. 8 of Baskets in the reverse, and 9 of Coins in the upright, and Daughter of Knives. I mean, you're beautiful. Like, there's no, like, it wasn't that he wasn't attracted to you. Like, you know, if that's what you're wondering, like, if you're feeling quite, like, a little bit more on the insecure level, it's not, he's just a thought. Like, that's all you need to know, is that he's just a thought. It's not you. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken, damaged goods, or anything like that. You are just simply you. Unapologetically human. And when someone comes in front of you and you ask a lot of questions, that's exactly what you did, and that's why you're not together. That's why you're not together. You asked a lot of questions. You took down a lot of notes. You paid attention to the behavior, and that is exactly why you're not together. You weren't delusional. You did not take this any further. And I think with him as well, like, I think you were also kind of a little bit of a, you know, I think people will be shocked to hear what type of person you were in this relationship. It brought out a lot of bad things in you, and right now you're healing from that. So instead of introducing yourself to this situation again, or trying to get with someone to replace the hole, I would continue to heal and move forward. You work really hard to maintain this. You know, you definitely weren't born into a perfect situation, but you made the most of it. And I feel like you're trying to give the perfect situation to your family or to those you care about. And it's always kind of backfired on you, chasing after perfection. But instead of focusing on trying to not control, but I guess find a man who's easy to convince, I would maybe convince yourself that you are worthy, worth it, and loved. Sorry, my fucking mouth is frothing or something. I don't know what's going on here. It's bothering me. Maybe it was just chapstick. I don't see nothing.
Not me getting self-conscious. All right. But I truly do believe that you are definitely in this stage of feeling regretful, feeling scared, and feeling like not like you're not worthy, I guess, of that type of high level commitment that you're looking for. But you are. You just need to stop trying to control, because you realize when you're trying to control a man's thoughts about you, he should already think highly of you. You should not have to prove yourself to him or convince him of anything. He should already love you, appreciate you. You know, especially coming into a relationship, he should already feel those things. So you shouldn't have to chase anyone. You should just be able to be yourself and actively gain love and respect through being authentically yourself. Trying to let my guard. I know. It's like I said, there's nothing, you're not doing anything wrong necessarily. It's just simply the fact that because you're learning at your own level, that some guys will come in and take advantage of the fact that you're still learning yourself. And they're not the types to learn themselves. They don't give a fuck about themselves, nor do they give a fuck about you. You know what I mean? They don't really care about themselves. They don't care what they're spreading around. They don't care. Nor do they give a fuck about you. So that's kind of the complicated part. It's like they don't really care about you either. They don't care if you get caught up in their shit. You know, it's kind of expected. Had me like a roach. Yeah. I mean, if anything, you are fully and utterly capable of rejecting people. I know you are, Angelica, because you are a picky person. You don't just go down the line of men and be like, oh, you know, try each one and finger licking good and this and that. You're not like that. You are very, very incredibly intelligent, and you pick them. When you pick them, you try to make sure that it's somebody you can at least, at the end of the day, deny and cut off cleanly. Get rid of them out of your aura, your area. So there's nothing wrong with the pace that you're growing, dear. It's just the right man will know that you're growing, and he will also be growing with you. Oh, I just almost knocked that light over. Yeah, he gonna feel stupid as fuck. Listen, but that's the thing, he's already stupid, right? He's already stupid. So, you know what I mean. Alright, y'all. I want to get up and get something to eat. I appreciate y'all spending the morning with me, and you know, we now coming into the afternoon. I want y'all guys to have a good one. I'm thinking about doing another live later tonight, like late though. I kind of want to do another live where we're doing sign reading. I don't know what sign yet. I'll think on that. I'll feel on that and see who comes in clutch. And we'll see who comes up. Alright, it's nice to see all you again. Especially you, Jen, Malibu, Angelica, and Miss Hillary. Yeah, I love to see my returning peeps. You know that. You know, you don't do that. You don't do that. I don't know why that confused me so much. You know, do that. And Susie. Miss Susie. You can always do better. You always do better. You can always improve. He said game over. Them motherfucking emojis. I appreciate y'all. Like I said, good wishes. Have a really good afternoon. Thanks, Jen. You flatter me.
And I want to see y'all tonight though. I'm thinking about doing a reading for a specific sign, and I'll figure it out. I'll figure out who the pick me is. We'll see. Okay, thank you for showing up. We had really good talks today too. I feel really to say satisfied. He said bisexual.